Hi guys, really quick video today. I'm going to talk about Turgenev's On the Eve. So you see this edition here has Rudin, or Rudin, I don't know how you pronounce it, and On the Eve. So I wanted to start On the Eve. I've started Rudin a few times and just read the first 5 or 10 pages. So I wanted to jump off into On the Eve. Sorry that I haven't done any videos in a couple weeks. I've had COVID in addition to my normal disabilities, and it's been wicked. So I finally got COVID. I thought I was immune to it, and it was wicked. It was awful. Anyway, but I was reading a bit, and I'm reading a Stephen King book, which I'll talk about as soon as I'm finished. His newest one, Fairy Tale, which I'm enjoying. On the Eve was excellent. Okay, so if you see here, this volume here is just under 300 pages, and so both of them are about equal length. So you're looking at 250 page novels, so short novels. On the Eve was excellent. I was thinking about it when I was starting it. I was thinking about what do you learn from this book in terms of structuring a story, and is it a model for us? Is it like, what can we learn from this? Of course you can learn something from everyone, and in terms of setting and all that stuff. It would take too long to talk about all the nitty-gritty details, so I'll just focus on the story itself. So Turgenev, this is one of his middle works, really. It's not one of his earliest and not one of his latest. It was written shortly before his masterpiece, Fathers and Sons, but not I think his earliest one was Sketches from a Sportsman's Notebook or something like that. So this is one of his middle works, and a lot of his works take place outside of Russia because he spent a lot of his life in Europe, in Paris and different places. This book mainly takes place in Russia, in some small town, as he says, on the Moscow River, and so the vast majority of it takes place in a rural setting, which is good and handy because the characters are, you can confine the social interactions to a few main characters, right? And that seems to be the case with Rudin as well. You have a rural setting of a few, maybe just a wealthy household or two, and their interactions. So the story is generally about a girl who, well, she doesn't really become the main character until the second half of the book, really. She's just one of 3 or 4 characters in the first half of the book. And her, everyone's kind of, there's basically 3 young men who like her, love her, or whatever. And the group is referred to as artists or whatever. So later on, the father brings in this wealthy guy from Petersburg to marry the daughter, but she's not interested in him. And the father dismissively refers to her friends or whatever, her admirers, as artists or whatever. And in fact, one of them is a sculptor. One of them is, I guess, a student, an intellectual student. And the other is a very active proponent of Bulgaria's separation or freedom from the Turks. So Bulgaria was controlled by Turkey at the time, and if you know anything about the Balkans in the late 20th century, you know that it was an ongoing mess that dates back from certainly the conquests of that area by the Ottoman Empire and so on, and its dissolution and blah blah blah. So, in Yugoslavia and blah blah. Anyway, so the main character, the girl, she, what's her name? Yelena, with a Y. She basically falls in love with the Bulgarian guy, the Bulgarian independence guy, and he gets sick, and she ends up. Should I spoil this book or not? Anyway, I'll just say she ends up with him, and basically, I would say that the lasting theme of the book is that she had to uh, be she was looking to find meaning for her life in something other than the normal humdrum kind of life. Like, so she had no interest in marrying this wealthy government official or whatever, and that, you know, always her friends were the artists and intellectuals and stuff. And so she ended up with this sort of romantic figure, right? This political passionate guy or whatever. So in the end, she was basically true to herself in that she could never settle into the old paradigm of marriage and wealth and land ownership and stuff like that. So it was a very well done, very beautifully written book. It's not melodramatic. It's it's not analytical. It's sort of right in that sweet spot between the two. Um, and and the pacing is nice in right, and that level of detail and complexity is good. So there's really nothing to complain about. It's a really enjoyable short read. So anyway, guys, I recommend it, and I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll be back with other book reviews soon. Thank you.